Thank you for your time. And that high pollution sponsor, in this case, United Airlines, the main sponsor of the event, so you won't be surprised any protesters from Just Stop Oil show up. What plans do you have in place for that?
Well, we're hoping today's another wonderful day in London. We think records are going to be broken today. 1.5 million people celebrating Pride in London, but this is also a day where we celebrate the progress made in relation to laws to protect this community, equal marriage, 20 years since Section 28 was abolished, but also this community recognising things aren't perfect. There's more work to be done to ensure this community doesn't face discrimination, prejudice, hatred and violence. And I'd hope groups like Just Stop Oil and others who want to protest against a parade that's a celebration and a protest will reflect whether they're helping the cause and encouraging more people to feel passionate about tackling climate change, or whether they'll inadvertently drive people away.
So what plans then do you have in place if they do show up to oppose the high pollution sponsor that I mentioned?
Well, there's always a big police presence at Pride in London parades, both police officers, in uniform, plainclothes police officers as well. The key thing when it comes to protest, in my view, is it should be peaceful, safe and lawful. Actually, at Pride in London, the 600 groups marching in the parade, more than 35,000 people on the parade themselves are protesting at the fact that things aren't perfect in London, in particular when it comes to the trans community, who face stigmatisation, demonisation and have been weaponised in a culture war. So the irony where people on a protest could have protest against them isn't lost on members of this wonderful community.
Let's talk about other issues that are certainly proving to be very high on the agenda for Londoners and, of course, anyone who lives and work around the capital. This is ULEZ, the expansion of ULEZ. Do you think you're winning the argument on that?
Well, it's really important for people to understand the reasons why we're bringing in the ultra-low emission zone to all of London. It's a difficult choice for me to make, but it's the right thing to do. Why? Because each year across our city, around 4,000 people die prematurely because of air pollution. Across the country, according to the government's own figures, around 36,000 people. We know the ULEZ works because in central London, we've seen a reduction by almost 50% of toxicity, a third fewer children being admitted in hospital because of asthma. In inner London, we've already expanded a further fifth reduction. So here's the choice. Do we want those 5 million people living in outer London to also breathe cleaner air, or should we write them off because they're poorer living in outer London? The 10 boroughs with the worst air quality is in outer London. The GPs, 80% of GPs with the largest numbers of asthma patients are all in outer London. I think, clean air should be a human right, not a privilege.
What about those businesses, some of them very small businesses, who say the costs are crippling, particularly at a time of cost of living crisis, when they're saying we simply cannot afford this?
Yeah, we've been listening to these businesses, but also families, low-income families, who have said similar things. So what we've done in the last 2 weeks is massively widen the eligibility for those who can get support from TfL. So now every single business in London that employs up to 50 people, that's 99% of businesses are eligible for support. But every family in London that receives child benefit, that's more than 860,000 families, will now be able to receive support. But also every charity in London can get support, not for just one vehicle, but for 3 of their vehicles. So we are listening to the concerns people are raising. But listen, the choice is this. Do we refuse to take action? Do we delay taking action? Or do we take action to improve the quality of air in London? I think it's important to take action.
And I can see a lot of activity going on there behind you. Just tell us about the highlights of today. What should we be looking out for at the event?
Well, the great thing about today is not simply the LGBTQI+ community celebrating the progress made, but also campaigning for change. But it's the allies. We've got a big role to play to support this community. I'm really proud to be mayor of the, in my view, greatest city in the world, but also I think our diversity is a strength, not a weakness. So the parade is amazing. It takes place all day. Trafalgar Square, events taking place all day. Big surprise, which I can reveal, it's not a surprise anymore. Adam Lambert is going to be singing in Trafalgar Square. Tens of thousands of people in Trafalgar Square, in and around the centre of our city, from Soho to Leicester Square, Trafalgar Square to here in Park Lane. We are seen as a beacon to the rest of the world. We don't simply tolerate difference, we respect it, we embrace it, and as you can see behind me, we're celebrating it, and that includes the trans community.
Absolutely. Sounds like a packed day there. Thank you very much indeed.